More than 100 people packed into the Arlington County Courthouse to hear about a new program for inmates suffering from mental illness.
We've got people that are in treatment. We put them out on probation, and then because we don't have a tight enough, not grip, so to speak, but we don't have enough oversight of them by the courts, that we lose them. And that oversight is important, because if you don't do what I'm telling you that you have to do, you know what the alternative is, and that's jail.
Fran O'Brien is an Arlington County District Court judge. Judge O'Brien says officials have observed it's difficult to stabilize habitual offenders.
We had a public forum on our proposed behavioral health docket that we want to send to the Supreme Court for approval so we can get started with our behavioral health docket.
Several Arlington County officials attended the meeting, including Sheriff Beth Arthur. Arthur has been the Arlington County Sheriff for 19 years and is responsible for running the county jail.
Jails have become the sort of adjunct mental health hospitals across the country, so anything we can do to divert people from jail to help them get treatment and get on a path of success, I'm always supportive of that.
The sheriff says creating a behavioral health docket in Arlington County is necessary.
I think everybody's input is always important, and so my guess is they'll listen to what other people are recommending and suggesting, and whether they go forward with the application now or reevaluate it as time passes. I think that you're not going to make everybody happy with what you do, but if we can help people that have mental health issues and hopefully keep them from ending up with a criminal record and getting treatment, that's all a plus for everybody.
According to the sheriff, it costs the county $200 per day to house an inmate. Does Sheriff Arthur believe the mental health court is beneficial for the county?
That's yet to be seen. Currently, I run the pretrial program in Arlington, which is a bit unusual for most localities, but we've been running that program since its inception back in the 80s, a long time ago. And so we, do have people that they're diverting from jail into pretrial, awaiting trial, so that they can be getting, at least they're monitored and maybe getting them involved in some programs that are out in the community through the Department of Health and Human Services, but trying to touch them into other opportunities in the community before they come to court.
The behavioral health care docket is a post-plea docket that's being proposed within the General District Court of Arlington, sponsored by Judge O'Brien, Judge Francis O'Brien, which would enable adults 18 and older who have a serious mental illness and have a misdemeanor charge be able to receive treatment in lieu of sentencing and jail time.
Anita Freeman is the director of the Department of Human Services in Arlington County.
It's important to us that people who have serious mental illness receive treatment as soon as possible and in a consistent way, and avoid, if possible, time within the criminal justice system. Because we know that outcomes for people who enter the criminal justice system who have serious mental illness are much worse.
Julius Spain is the president of the Arlington branch of the NAACP. He had concerns, including that the public had not been properly notified that the meeting was taking place.
And then again, it's 3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. The families you want to hear from, the people you need to hear from are working. And we have to do a better job of that. So I would ask that you delay this and your decision to the first individual that stood up. We need more time. The community needs more time to take this in and realize what's at stake and what's going on.
According to Friedman, people still have time to give their comments.
We're going to be compiling, and people still, from now until the end of August, people can still send in their comments about the application to the committee that's working on the behavioral health care docket application. We'll take all of those into consideration, and then as the judge and the committee sees fit, would modify the application and then submit it at the end of the summer.
Brad Haywood is the chief public defender for Arlington County and the City of Falls Church.
Arlington's been in the discussions to create mental health diversion efforts for about 15 years. There's been a process of trying to actually formally create a mental health docket for the past 5 years. And then earlier this year, the efforts to create the docket picked up speed, but there was some concern by community members in particular that their input wasn't being heard. So as a result of that, Department of Human Services and the General District Court convened this meeting so they could solicit more public input.
Haywood says there should be a more suitable place to house people suffering from mental illness.
Arlington County Jail is chock full of people with serious mental illness, and the courts every day just an inordinate number of people with serious mental illness are facing criminal charges. So there's an interest in finding a different way, a more humane way, more compassionate way to treat this problem and to treat mental health mental illness as a disease and not as a crime.
It's incentives and it's sanctions, and the hope is that we can get people to be in a position where they're not going to be involved in the criminal justice system, and they can control their mental illness and stay out of trouble.
In Arlington, Elaine Rackley for Breaking Through News.